Well, that one galaxy seemed like it's going to get away, or is it? Oh no! Oh, that lib got it just!
Only just, it was a bullet away.
This is such a wasted opportunity from Briggs here, unless they can get more people out of these Sunders at the tech plant.
There's a bit of a...
After that little battle there, Soltech has quite literally gone
There's a
down.
Briggs Liberator force coming in from Lithcorp's secure mine.
Zealous Biolab is currently under contest. Huge battle there at this stage. I'm gonna head over there and see what's going on. Okay, so it appears that the Vanu have quite literally cleared this place out. They've just pulled a huge max crash. Not a single side of any NC left. It looks as though, from what I can tell, NC went for the same tactic that they did before and couldn't pull it off.
Future Crew Galaxy at the tech plant finally stuck its wing through with a bulldog and took out those galaxies. But that was kind of a misplay on both sides. That was a misplay from Briggs. They could have gotten a lot more people in this tech plant a lot earlier, and it was a misplay from Connery. It took them a long time to clean up what was basically less than a squad here.
It looks like the air forces are pulling out from Soltech and are beginning to go back to their respective points. Black Shadow has been kept by a small force. Raxicon hub was being captured by and has been defended by Briggs by a large force. You're right, the Hyoka tech plant looks like it has been fully secured, and they have people at Hyoka Armory ready to flip in that direction.
There's actually a Briggs Valkyrie coming into the Hyoka tech plant now. I want to see what this guy does.
I'd actually like to win this fight.
The Vanu lady at the tech plant just said, I'd actually like to win this fight, and I'm pretty much sure that's the entire motive for Connery.
Connery has dropped 2 squads ahead at Hyoka Armory. You know, it's so easy as a spectator or even just as an individual soldier in ServerSmash to not see the bigger picture and how hard it is to get this kind of coordination. It's really easy to say, well, you should just have a person ahead, or you should have air up or something.
That's
like
really
that.
hard to do, actually.
Actually getting all of those instruments to play together in that kind of symphony is really difficult. It's really easy to miss that one point in the heat of battle. Connery has really managed to turn things around here. They are all playing together. It's kind of beautiful music they're making.
So the instant the tech plant gets saved, there's a guy there to flip the point at Hyoka tech plant for Briggs. So even if they did have somebody at Hyoka Armory, it isn't flipping because the tech plant's flipping. So that force of Connery is being countered.
Connery have also destroyed vehicle terminals now, so that's game over for Briggs. If they wanted to try and hack out more Sunders, they're going to have to get it from Armory. In fact, I am seeing a lot of Sunders pulled from Armory, so it's a matter of time whether, Briggs can actually get...
Yeah, the Connery force is instantly redeployed back to the tech plant.
And this is what the game becomes. Okay, so let's say both of you are good enough to get people ahead and have point holds going on.
ARX. Okay, screw the rest, I'm going to ARX. There's actually quite a large amount of corner there.
The play of the match. Alright, what's going on over here at ARX?
All that matters at ARX is getting the correct amount of people to do the point hold and being able to reinforce them either through medics or some kind of...
Some Air Force at ARX would actually go a long way, because it's actually quite exposed coming into the...
As you say, though, I'm seeing Vanu, Galaxies, Liberators, and Sides pummeling the spawn room.
Yeah. The thing is, it's a smaller force. It can be brushed aside quite quickly. I'm not entirely sure what the Mag Riders are doing outside, because there's 3 of them. Maybe they're just going to defend the spawn Sunders. But I like this better. It's not just a pure straight-up infantry drop and hold with like 1 or 2 maxes. They are bringing up perhaps some spawn options. 69% population currently at ARX with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Knock knock, Briggs. They're on your doorstep.
Something I'm going to go quickly check out is Soltech Gorge, because the Briggs have just done a back cap over there with a minute down and no Connery. In fact, Briggs are doing what they did earlier at this base. They have pulled a huge armor column. I'm seeing Sunder as lightnings, whatever you can think of. They're on their way. I even see a flash in amongst them right now.
Oh, it just dawned on me, Redland, we actually have some characters that have got female. These used to be all male characters, yeah.
We have many characters who are black females, and that's thanks.
Oh wow! Now that's minority for you.
Yes, that was our gift from SVU, a previous SOE employee, who, when we said we wanted some racial diversity, he said, "Don't worry, I just gave you 100 black female characters."
That's cute. Well, anyway, with regards to ARX, 1 minute 30 to go. Briggs is now overpopping Connery, but it is a horrendous capture point. If I was Connery, I would try and ruthlessly defend outside as much as possible, buy as much time outside as possible. Hell, send in the Air Force. That's what I want right now.
Yeah, the Air Force would just mop up at this base. They could just literally pick these people off of the rocks any way that they wanted. Briggs is kind of just waterfalling.
Okay, so 60 seconds to go. There are some PPA spies being a nuisance on the outside. Now you come to the crucial inside capture point. They're throwing lots of grenades, and I mean a lot of grenades, but the fact is, it's really only pressure from one entrance. And with 50 seconds to go, this is totally plausible. Oh, it's
the exact same forces from Vano who were here last time. So they kind of, maybe they learned.
But it's closer though this time, that's the point. I mean, it's desperate here for Briggs. Briggs has to get in here. They have to get to the point, but it's such a choke point.
Briggs is on the second level. They're pushing up the stairs.
Oh, they've got 60% population now, but again, it's horrendous.
Beautiful C4. Probably took out half a squad with that single brick right there.
Oh, but they're on the point in the reverse. Oh, they're gonna get it. 20 seconds to go. Well done, Briggs. That's an important save.
Here's the important point. Last time it was 40 seconds. This time it's 20 seconds. That's how you take bases. You keep coming back. Connery's going to come right back here. Next time it'll be 10 seconds, and the time after that they'll take the base.
Oh, is that reinforcements of Connery? Oh, the Air Force is too late! They're here now, but it's too late!
They're already inside.
You could pummel the outside, and I tell you what, if you've got spawn sunders, Connery could totally spawn back in at the sunder and counter-push the point. They've got air control. If they can push Briggs off the defensive cap point even once with their Air Force that's here, they can hold it.
There are in fact VS sunders here, they just have to hold it.
Really interesting point here coming out of a region chat on VS. Region chat of VS is the Air Force telling everyone where repair and ammo galaxies are. They're basically every couple minutes you will see a region chat come out saying repair and ammo galaxies.
Follow this max push, pushing in from the Sunders back up to the ARX cap point. They're counter pushing the point.
This is massive. In fact, they're on the point.
And
they've pushed them off.
Thunder up too, as well.
And they're flipping the point back. Okay, it's still a bit tenuous, but the fact is they've got the point. How's that Air Force doing? Air Force is still here, more than it was last time, and they are kind of suppressing-ish, or at least softening up any infantry that comes out of the spawn room.
Briggs needs to max crash the hell out of this if they're going to even dream about it.
Back to 60 seconds, here we go again. A lot more maxes now for Connery on the point.
3 future crew galaxies hanging out to the south of the space.
Almost 60% pop for Connery at this base at the moment. This is incredibly...
Dude, the populations here, this is huge. I mean, this is like 200 people on this base now.
Anything that Briggs Force Commander is thinking about doing needs to drop it instantly. He needs to make a play for this one ASAP, and with 35 seconds...
Oh, it's getting so close. They're not even anywhere close.
Off of the cliff, trying to get down into a better position.
The thing is, there's constant streaming reinforcements for Connery coming in from the Sunder. It's not Briggs that are getting to the point, it's more Connery that's getting to the point. Now we're under 20 seconds. That's it. I can safely say that this is going to be Connery base, and they've touched the warp gate now. And look, they've got people at Shadespire's farms.
They do too, and they've got people at Jagged Lance. There's not many. There's in fact, it's only... Nope, Connery's going to grab this, and they have.
Oh, that's painful! They've touched the warp gate! They've touched the warp gate! Now, can they cut off? This is the next important place. The play for Jagged Lance and the play for Shadespire Farms.
Galaxy is already dropping VS on Shadespire Farms as we speak.
The thing is, they need to stay and defend this. Because of the warp gate, it doesn't mean that ARX will ever be safe. It'll always be under threat, but that's fine.
If they can cut off the rest of the territory, then all they have to do is defend 3 points and just ghost cap the rest of the map, and this is done.
This is yeah, this is really important now. ARX must be fought for, and you can see it's 96-96, and the fact is Connery's going to have to stay there, but it means that the Shadespire Farms going to be smaller cat fights, smaller populations. You can see
I'm
that.
actually trying to find out where all the NC forces right now, because they've lost the spawner. I'm trying to find out where they're deploying in from now.
Okay, so the Shadespire Farms is really just a diversion attack. It was one guy in a galaxy getting out and flipping a point with the air. The Briggs have already turning up with 3 or 4 people, and they already have 70% population in small numbers. So, yeah, I mean, if you look at the rest of the map, guys, this is indicative of what's going on. Look at Soltech and the 2 bases there. There's maybe 2 squads each. At Deep Core, less than a squad. Lithcorp, less than a squad. Split Peak, less than a squad. Zealous Biolab into Northgate, 1 or 2 squads. ARX, the entire population.
Crux headquarters is actually being heavily contested by Briggs. They're going to try and backcap him out.
Yeah.
You gain more territory by attacking Jagged Lance Mine. You get the entire north side of the map. The easier base to take is Shadespire Farm. It's an enclosed
with your Air Force,
building.
Gotta be. With the Air Force, it's such an exposed run from the 2 teleporter buildings. You have to go from Shadespire, and it means that you can free up. It doesn't matter. It's enough territory that you can just gobble up. But you're right. Crux headquarters has to be properly saved in its own regard.
An entire squad drop on Jagged Lance Mine right now. I'm trying to see who this is from Connery.
The thing is, they've reinforced the capture at Shadespire as well. Are they trying to warp gate?
Dropping at Jagged Lance. They're trying to warp gate, but I mean, honestly, the warp gate isn't what matters. It's getting the 2 connecting points to cut off the rest of the territory. Once you get those 2 points, you can lose the center. It doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, at Shadespire, a huge plump of bodies from Connery just went and hacked the vehicle terminal, body protected the infiltrator, and then pulled out their own bunch of Sunderers to get back onto the base. I don't know if that was smart or not, but they've got the capture point. It's 2 minutes to go. The fight... Oh, geez. Oh, look at ARX. The population's just dropped away. It's 1 to 12. Everyone's gone off to Crux headquarters and the adjacent side bases.
And they're also at Shadespire, yeah. You see, the thing
Briggs
is now...
has decided to attack Crux headquarters.
The thing is, though, with this cap of ARX, it doesn't even matter anymore what Connery is doing in the center. They can cap as many territories in the center of the map as they like. Briggs has to focus now on these warp gate bases.
It is bad because if Shadespire goes through, which looks like it's entirely possible it could, it cuts off a whole bunch. Crux goes through, they're not cut off because of the link through Jagged Lance, but Jagged Lance Mine is also ticking down, so that has to be saved. This is the ability to cut off territory. It makes this game so much more interesting here. And it's huge.
Has put almost all of its force on Crux headquarters, which is a real shame. I mean, why are they not? I would be taking at least half a platoon of the Crux headquarters guys and putting them on Shadespire.
Oh my god, Shadespire, 60 seconds to go. If you're Connery here, you smell blood. You can't believe you've got this 3 minutes down. Send everything that you can to Shadespire Farms. If you lose Crux headquarters, does it matter? If you get Shadespire Farms and Jagged Lance, it's 1-for-1 territory. You cut off the warp gate, they can't redeploy to all these other bases. They have to fly there. Your Air Force can pin them in at their spawn locations, warp gate or whatnot. It just means the smarter play here is I would sacrifice Crux headquarters, as weird as this is, and take the warp gate bases.
The interesting thing here is, finally, Briggs is spawning back in there. Crux headquarters does cut off Connery from the warp gate, but Connery cutting off at Shadespire Farms is so much more important than Briggs doing it to Connery.
NC Max is now pushing up through the top floor. This is going to have to be a really fast push by Briggs. Galaxy's coming in to reinforce it. Oh, this is going to be a close one.
I think Briggs is going to get here just in time with 18 seconds. They're on the roof. And they're flipping the point? Yeah, they're flipping the point from the ground floor.
Oh my god, the Max is on the point.
Yep, it's done.
Yeah, but we've seen previously, I mean, there are Sunderers on the outside, and the Air Force is now turned up slightly late, but they are here. If they were here just a little bit earlier. But it does mean that, with a deployed Sunderer, Connery, if they want to, could spawn back in and counter push. And with the Air Force in control, that would be just like how ARX happened, and they get it. Crux headquarters has become a 50-50 fight. But Jagged Lance, very small numbers, 60 seconds to go.
Jagged Lance needs to be...
it's been flipped.
Connery can get Jagged Lance, it changes the
It's not
entire
being flipped. It actually, they just killed the person off the point here. They're actually getting people back onto it. They have force multipliers. Connery has force multipliers stopping Briggs from coming back through. Briggs is spawning into the buildings and trying to...
That's the Briggs warp gate right there.
Everywhere. And we are looking at the Briggs warp gate as we are here.
Oh wow, this is getting close. Fresh galaxy reinforcements from Connery. Perhaps the forces that are fighting at Shadespire, they're still there. I don't think they've been moved to Jagged Lance, but 30 seconds to go. He gives some Briggs Air Force. It's getting desperate.
And I don't understand, there's 48 to 96 Briggs at Soltech charging station. What are they doing up there? If they lose Jagged Lance Mine, none of that matters.
Oh my god, you're not kidding.
15
What?
second finally last crash here from Briggs, trying to get people up there.
I don't think it's enough. I think they're going to get cut off.
They're going to get cut off. Unless they're...
Oh, here we go. You ready? Watch the map in a few seconds, guys.
3, there it is.
Bam!
Wow.
Look at that cutoff. Icanar Biolab, Sungray Amp Station, the Bastion, Lithcorp Secure Mine, all the way up to Deep Core. Everything is cut off. What does that mean? It means you cannot redeploy to those bases. If you in the sphere of influence of that base, you can spawn in it, but you cannot redeploy. Which means if all these NC forces that are at Soltech Charging Station, they can't redeploy to any of these bases that come under threat. Right now, if you're Varu, you start the cap at Bastion, you start the cap at Araxicum Network Up as soon as you save Crux Headquarters. Heck, you can even start the cap at Hidden Ridge Mining from Jagged Lance, and the enemies can't redeploy. They have to fly in, and with the stronger, what we feel is the stronger Connery Air Force, or even just the contested Air Force, it's going to be very hard for Briggs to fly where they need to go and spawn in. And now we come back to Shadespire. If you can get Shadespire, this is a big, big warp gate. Okay, ARX is ticking down now, but if you're Connery, do you go for Salt? Do you just fully warp gate them?
I think that's what they're attempting.
30 minutes left in the match. Now, half an hour remaining.
And previously, in previous matches where it would have just simply been the prestige of warp gating an enemy, at this point you gain so much from doing it. I can't see why it, I mean, I don't know if this was a plan all along from Connery, but at this point it's the only thing that matters on this map.
The Vanu
warp gate it and let everyone else
have now got their Air Force at Shadespire. They've also got 2 high altitude gals right above point. Briggs is going to have to really make a strong play here if they're going to want to, prevent this from being fully cut off from the warp gate.
Briggs has some caps moving forward. If you are in a hex, when you die, you can still spawn into it. So those Briggs players who are playing over at Soltech Charging, who are playing over at the Bastion and Deep Core Geolab, they can spawn in. But any reinforcements, anyone coming back in, they're going to have a hard time. Briggs has already pushed a massive force back on the Jagged Lance Mine. They understand that they have to reconnect their territory to be able to save any of it. Connery needs to try and take as much territory as they can, and maybe that's in the north and maybe it's in the south. We know where Briggs has to go at this point. And Connery is at Shadespire Farms, back on the point, 2 minutes to go.
But also ARX is ticking down with 2 minutes as well to go. They need to make a save if you want to keep this up. Well, they only do have 6% population, and they do have... Yeah, it's quite simple. Connery has just sacked every other base. If you look at the population everywhere else, it's all negligible pops. All the fighting is happening around the warp gate. Look at the 96 plus at Jagged Lance Mine. Thing is, Shadespire will go through first before any of the bases, so for a very short period of time, Connery will actually warp gate Briggs.
Look at
fully warp gate.
The armor column currently at Jagged Lance. They have overcommitted to this base. They need to move some of that stuff off of this base and move over to Shadespire Farms. Otherwise, it's just not going to work for them. In fact, the Briggs Air Force is now switched up from air that now all pulled warp.
Well, yeah, but look at this from Briggs' point of view. You have to, and I stress, have to get Jagged Lance back to reconnect all your territories. You got to have the ability to redeploy back in. It's more important. ARX, you've got to force getting it. You might be pushed off, you might not. You've got such an overcommit to Jagged Lance, you might be able to get over to ARX. But the fact is, Shadespire is going to go through first, and for a short period of time, Briggs will be entirely cut off from all bases, all territories. In fact, you're going to trade the cut-off territories in the north to the cut-off territories in the east. Unless they get Shadespire saved.
In fact, as we speak, all the fighting is actually happening on the map. Meanwhile, Soltech Gorge is currently being ghost-capped by the NC that have been cut off.
I'm actually surprised here. I mean,
look at the Connery force. Look at Briggs and Soltech Gorge. It's like a couple of squads, you're right.
Yeah, Briggs has not pulled these people back. They've said, look, we can still gain territory as long as you stay in hexes, as long as you have sunders to deploy onto. So, hey, if you have an advanced force, this is the time to continue using it. Kudos to Briggs to not pull these people back.
And Briggs just lost the point hold on Amrish ARX here. They're going to get Jagged Lance. I'm not sure where that 96 plus...
Right, you ready for the map? You ready for the map? Map.
Bam.
Boomf. Bam. Cut off.
The entire
All of
that is
Connery's...
the very first time.
Yeah, all of
Very
Briggs' Air
first
Force's
time.
ground bases cut off. Boom. And it looks like ARX is being possibly saved, which means that's fine. And hell, can you redeploy into Jagged Lance? Can they save Jagged Lance? Can Connery save this?
This
I
has
don't know,
this has
Briggs has now
never
moved out. They moved to Amrish ARX.
There has never been a warp gate in a ServerSmash before.
Now it's full warp gate. I swear, I mean, if Skippy became an alcoholic after the Emerald loss, I'm fairly certain he's become a drug addict after the Connery loss.
I have to say, I am looking forward to the Connery copy pasta of "This is why Connery lost" after this match. I'm very, very much looking forward to what that particular.
Oh, Galaxy reinforcements from Connery. Connery has dropped on the capture point at Jagged Lance. They've made a save. The warp gate continues. ARX, however, oh wow.
An emergency room reservation for Skippy as we speak.
Yeah, ARX, however, is mega repop by Briggs against Connery, which means it looks like it's all but certain now with huge numbers that ARX will be saved. Be captured by Briggs, and therefore they'll get reconnection. But it doesn't matter, because let's think about it. ARX isn't the base that rejoins to your territory. So no. Connery's like, you want ARX? You can have ARX. We've got Shadespire and Lance. Okay, you'll cut off.
And as we speak, they are taking Deep Core, they are taking Bastion, they're taking Araxicom.
And they can't stop those bases, yeah. The fact Soltech Gorge is still going on. Actually, population's moved in for Connery because they can redeploy, they're making save there. And it looks like Briggs is continuing to fight at Zealous Northgate, not giving up those bases. Actually, Briggs is slightly counter-attacking. Are they going to get East Hill's checkpoint? No, they're not. They were close to getting East Hill's checkpoint. It was super close. It does look like that they'll get ARX.
Now taking Crux mining operation. So they have ARX now.
The two that matter the most to me, the two that seem like are just absolute. I mean, I don't know how many more death knells you can have here, but the Bastion and Subterranean Analysis.
Actually,
those are the crown jewels here.
Amrish ARX is a really smart play because now they can move into Shadespire Farms uncontested. Vanu cannot redeploy to Shadespire Farms.
Yeah, but they have Air Force that can fly in though, and if they have
Very, very true. But at this stage, they do not get a redeploy. And if Briggs plays their Air Force right, and they put in the walk...
Well, they are trying to get Crux mining operation. That's a very ambitious cap. Oh, they've moved on to Black Shard tungsten mine. So, at a certain point, can Connery, how do we put this, stabilize? I mean, yes, they're going to get Raxicom Network Hub and Deep Core, and they're basically uncontested. So this is great for territory. It's not game over, but with 23 minutes to go, I don't think there's enough time for Briggs... Because this isn't a runaway game. This isn't like 70% plus. The fact is, Briggs can still bring this back.
It's so strange that on this ambush map, you can push to somebody's warp gate and not get 70%.
It's a very direct sort of route, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I mean, it basically it was single-mindedness from Connery to get to this point.
I've got a feeling that was their plan, because there was such an emphasis on those bases.
Yeah, but it should have never been allowed to happen with Crux headquarters. It was the Air Force that won the Crux headquarters. The pushing around the ascent was a smart play, and the getting the rock side was a smart play, but they should have never gotten the Crux. But it happened, and that is the key then to the warp gate. And we can see Connery is Briggs is dropping reinforcements by Galaxy on the capture point of Jagged Lance. They're just making double sure we're actually going to get this.
I'm now Black Shard tungsten mine, and there is quite literally a Liberator's nose gun sticking through the door.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Connery has a tank burster that is literally just playing peekaboo into the door of Black Shard.
He's quite literally sitting at peak, I dare you.
17 seconds until Briggs can finally reconnect some of this north stuff. That means that they can resecure Bastion. That means they can resecure Deep Core Geolab. I don't see enough population from Connery, so that means the north side here will at least come back. you know, as bad as this was, there isn't a whole lot that Briggs lost there. Finally, reconnection to the north. They have not lost the Bastion. They have not lost Deep Core Geolab. I'm interested to see where exactly they respawn everyone to here.
See, NC Arsenal is small a cap. If I was Vanu right now, if I was Connery, looking at what I've got, I'm going to lose Shadespire. That's fair enough. So long as I keep Black Shard, maybe re-threaten ARX, I would put all my forces into Bastion. And look, we've already, with the connected territory, instant redeployment of the Briggs forces into the Bastion. Because they reconnected, they were able to redeploy in.
Yeah, there's already maxes here from the NC, so this was absolutely where they were coming to.
And there's simply not enough people here from Connery to get Bastion for free. And Deep Core was unmanned, so they were able to respawn into Deep Core as well and make a save there.
It's staggering how fast that is and what a difference it makes at this base. You know, even understanding that they can't spawn in here, I don't think even I understood how quickly it makes the difference. Within 15 seconds of them getting connection here, suddenly they have harassers spawning and they have maxes spawning in. It makes a huge difference at this fight.
Connery's bringing in reinforcements up to 51%. I mean, they're kind of crapping out the anti-air is getting rid of kind of like the the air turrets and whatnot and softening around. A little friendly TK Sunder on a harasser.
They want this cap to go through. And
yeah, well they've got the 2 capture points, but it's become a 5-minute base capture. It's reasonably long. Shadespire is going to go through. You can't stop that. ARX. Small numbers. NC Arsenal, I don't see that going anywhere. Soltec charging station, it's been going back and forth all game. I'd be surprised if Connery actually gets it and Briggs actually doesn't come back and defend it. The problem here, however, is the cut-off territory at Shadespire. Shadespire is going to be 80 seconds until it can be saved, but Zealous Northgate, crucially Briggs made the push to Zealous Northgate and held it. They did not allow subterranean analysis to be capped, and that's great because they will get Zealous Northgate, but they will not get subterranean analysis. And that means no more territory on the eastern lane will be lost. That's for Briggs.
Yeah.
A 66% population here at the Bastion. This is obviously what Connery decided they were going to try and get out of their little trip to the Warp Gate. Massive galaxy. Entire groups of repair galaxies and so many liberators. 1, 2, 3. There might have been a 4th that flew past me. I honestly couldn't tell. The air is just suffocating from Connery.
Briggs is still being kind of securing their warp gate at the moment. I mean, if I was Briggs, yes, Shadespire is saved, great. ARX, you need to make a save on it, 2.5 minutes. That's actually quite awkward. And as soon as you've got Shadespire and ARX out of the way and saved, unless it looks like ARX has been saved now, push for Blackshire Tungsten Mine and counter push along that lane. You need to get you need to apply pressure back on Crux headquarters. In terms of number of bases, oh wow, all 3 capture points. The A point just flipped. Less than 60 seconds now at Bastion.
90 seconds out. In fact, NC are pulling a ton of max suits from what I can tell inside their spawn room here.
NC are at Araxcom Network Hub. They have 24 people at Araxcom Net. Why aren't they at Bastion? Why aren't they trying to resecure the base?
Well, it's 50-50 pops.
AB.
You hear that? So A and B are going to be the main focus points now for Briggs. They've got the A point. Now they're being told to go to AB. Oh wow, this Scythe is point blank PPAing. Oh my god, on the A point.
They've got someone on C point. NC have got someone on the C point here at the Bastion.
Gotta be a single guy, right? And they're running into the B point here at the last moment as well. They've managed to get into the B point.
Very nice.
Now what happens?
At the same moment, within moments of it capturing, Briggs manages to send it looked like 60% pop to Zealous Northgate and get that back. That was moments away from being captured by the VS, and
so
this is now resecured. The
Charlie point was temporary because the spawn's under right there for Connery, so that isn't going to hold. The Bravo and Alpha points, it was a very expensive nana investment by Briggs to get to B point. B point is entirely cut off. The spawn's under from Connery, and they can get B point back just fine. Well, okay, I say that there's actually quite a large force in B point, but the fact is there are windows. They can all get ripped apart by Bulldogs or well-placed Air Force, and the Air Force, let's be clear here, is very much in the favour of Connery.
Very, very much so. The Connery have done their Air Force.
Oh, Soltec charging station. Look at that, 23 seconds.
Where, sorry?
West. Oh, but it's flipping in the last couple of seconds here. Looks like actually some Briggs Air Force. Battle Sunder by... Oh wait, no, points back in the hands of Connery. 7 seconds to go. It looks like they're going to get it. So they get back their original base from the beginning.
Minute from capturing Deep Core Geolab.
The facility's lost. Fall back and regroup.
They're reinforcing with an attack here. Connery is with Galaxies coming in. There is a large amount of NC trying to push out.
NC now on Black Shard Tungsten Mine also.
And it looks like Briggs... look, they are saving Deep Core? Yeah, they're saving Deep Core. No, wait, the capture point's back in the hands of Connery.
It's really tenuous right now.
He's got Max on it. He's not really doing anything.
This is an infiltrator.
Oh, wow, they got the heavy assault that dropped right in front of him. And it looks like... Oh, wait, Res Grenade, however, for Connery is...
Res Grenade for Connery.
It's not enough. Too low health. But the photon plus the Air Force has turned up though. This could make the deciding factor though because of the exposed nature of the capture point. But they don't have the infantry on the ground.
That Rhino squad head off fairly good. They've got another squad dropping on point. One NC max down.
You gonna res your mate there? No? He's gonna run off? Oh, fair enough.
The NC needs this facility.
Oh.
Step it up.
21 seconds. 21 seconds on the capture point, recontrolled by Connery. You can see the Briggs infantry ground forces. They can totally run to the point in time, but oh man, the Air Force is definitely very much purple. Oh, some last reinforcements from Briggs running onto the point. They're contesting it again, running in no direction. 7 seconds save, but there's so much Connery in the adjacent area, and the Air Force is dominant. You'd have to think, yeah, there we go, okay.
Run to Connery. See, that Air Force has just been a huge factor this entire match. Connery have been absolutely perfect with their Air Force.
Alright, so during this downtime of the Warp Gate section, Soltech Charging Station and Deep Core Geolab were captured, so we're almost back to where we were at the beginning in terms of on the western side of this map. And on the eastern side, very little has actually moved. It's only realistically been Subterranean Atlantis and Zealous Northgate. It's the entire centre that's changed. That's why Connery's so far ahead now.
There's a great little Jugga versus Future Crew fight going on at Araxcom Network Hub right now.
No, this I have to see.
Jugga was holding the point. They got kicked off by Future Crew. They came back and kicked Future Crew off, and now it looks like Future Crew brought some friends with them. They're trying to pull them back here.
Well, yeah, I've just turned up here, and everyone's now rendered in, and there's just a huge...
Oh, but the Air Force is turning up for Connery.
And it appears to be a contest for these two doorways here. Someone's going to make a play here. A lot of Connery stacked up outside this doorway. Not much... No, there's quite a few Briggs sitting behind the point here, but just not there's enough. They need some light assaults to go over to the C4 and just tag out all those guys that are stacked up on that doorway. But
interestingly enough, there's no Maxes, bar one that's coming in now very, very late. It's very much an all-infantry affair.
And it is. It makes me wonder, where's the Briggs Air Force? I'm wondering if they've actually managed to get air back up, or if they've just completely given up on the idea. And as I say this, a Briggs Air Force Galaxy has just showed up, but it's all by itself, and judging by what else is around here at Raxcom, it's not going to last long.
Well, Connery's made a save at Araxcom Network Hub, but the fact is, Black Shard Tungsten Mine's less than 60 seconds to go.
4 Vanu Galaxy coming in to intercept this NC1. It's not going to look good for him. In fact, I'm not even sure where the NC1 has disappeared to.
Uh-oh. I'm stuck. Let me out of here.
The perils of the...
Oh my god, I'm stuck. I am totally stuck. Okay, well, we're just gonna sit here. I can't even bail. Time to redeploy.
/ suicide.
Yep. And while that was all going on, Black Shard Tungsten's actually stalled for the NC as well. They actually didn't manage to get it. And once again, Vanu Air is over here. Not as much Vanu Air, but there is a decent amount of Vanu Air to help out.
The same NC force is back at Soltech Charging Station, doing the exact same tactics as well, trying to get the same Sunders onto the point and just stop the inevitable redeploy that...
I was late to Black Shard, yeah. Just a huge force of Connery, yeah. Alright, so much for that base then.
Yep.
A small cap at East Hills, but it doesn't. It's very few numbers. I don't think it'll go anywhere. Iraq's come network up. It looks like it's going to be fully saved. You're right about Celtic Charging Station. That's the only base that's ticking down now in favour of Briggs. May have a chance, but the problem is the numbers are so close at 50-50, you'd have to think that Connery will make a save.
Also worthy to note that Connery have actually got people over at Deserted Mineshaft, so there may have been an attempt on a back cap there at some stage. Not sure what's going to happen with that one.
And it looks like Connery is making a save now at Celtic Charging Station, moving on to the point. Doesn't look like there's really that many spawn options other than beacons for Briggs.
I'm just going to go have a look at East Hills checkpoint here. There's a small engagement going on. It looks like an attempted Briggs ghost cap.
As stuff calms down here, do you want to take a look at some stats?
Sure, in a sec. I'm just following the Scythe, Rocket Podding, and Orbs Galaxy. Nope, S2WG Galaxy. It looks like there's no one in the anti-air gun. Wow, Galaxy died really easily.
Another squad of NC just dropped on East Hills, but two squads of Hano just dropped on them, make that 3, and they're going to get cleared off this point real quick here. Once again, Vanu Air Force just dominating this map here.
East Hill's got some reinforcements from both teams, but it doesn't look like it's going to go. Right, so while we're... I'll go AFK in a second to look. Bastion's fully been saved as well. Is there any kind of conflict points? It's kind of calming down here in the last 10 minutes.
It is. There's NC and Zealous Biolab, but it's pretty much a standstill from what I can tell on the map.
Let's have a quick look at that while we look at the stats.
In fact, Briggs has done a job of starting fires all over the map now. Black Shark,
Match now, 10 minutes.
Lith Corp, Deep Core. But regardless,
Oh wow!
10 minutes left. Don't know if it's enough.
Check out that kill graph. Now this is going to be a hard-on for Connery's ego here. Grats Connery, you're actually getting significantly more kills than your Briggs counterpart, so the KD's really working out for you this time round.
Some of the SS accounts have got some pretty admirable KDs now.
25.86 KD. 181 kills. Yeah, it's got to be a pilot, I reckon.
Yeah, it's a pilot.
It's got to be a pilot. In fact, if you look by KD, literally the entire top is all very high KDs. All for Connery. That's not to say that KD is the most important stat. You know, the fact is playing the objective and getting territory is also quite important.
Different Briggs way of trying to attack Lithcorp Central here. They don't have a Sunder up. They brought a harasser up, but at this base, it far more matters that you have a Sunder deployed on this point than it does that you have a canister harasser blocking the point that Connery hasn't even been coming down anyway.
Exactly so, and you know, I feel as though that Sundera, like as history repeats itself with this base, Briggs needs to bring up a Sundera and fill it to the brink with AA max suits, just in preparation for what airball is going to come from Connery. And here comes Connery infantry onto the Lithcorp central point. Not sure what's happened to that harasser. In fact, there it is. But it is now, yep, in millions of little pieces.
Checking those stats out, Future Crew's infantry, 16 guys, they're doing really well for themselves. You know, in terms of number of kills and KD and that type of stuff. And I don't necessarily know what basis, sorry, the stream, I'm not actually showing anything on the map. But, you know, rather than what they're capturing. Right, I'm going to turn the...
I wouldn't doubt that I would be willing to bet good money that 25 KD guy is one of these Liberator gunners. Connery...
Yeah, the Air Force is just dominated.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And a Lib gunner sitting pretty with a Dalton picking off whatever he chooses certainly sounds like a likely candidate for that.
York. I'm just looking at the map timeline. The first 5 minutes, the stats weren't necessarily being tracked, but you can see how slowly Connery just kind of took it away, and then there was that mad dash towards the warp gate, and then it kind of stabilized and has been going back and forth as we see in the timeline.
NC is now making a play for Soltech charging.
And they've also got a reasonable play going in place for a Rexicon network hub as well.
Very
Although,
true.
there's not that many people here. It's actually really, really quiet in terms of population, because I've got an NC character and I'm not really seeing anyone. Soltech, I think we'll go there and check that one out then.
I think that at Deserted Mineshaft right now, at least one of these Liberators for Briggs is solo. I know that because he practically crashed into the mountainside while trying to fire his Dalton at the Sunder. But that's interesting. You know, as far as I thought, only Justisha was the only one who tried to solo live in ServerSmash.
Hey, if you can do it, it works, right?
Yeah, Briggs tend to have a lot of solo Liberator pilots, so I can imagine some of them are probably wanting to just return to their favourable vehicle and playstyle.
It looks like a counterplay now by Connery, just in terms of numbers, just pushing up the sort of charge stations. Briggs is attacking this space every single time, and it's admirable that they're doing it, because the more that they fight here, the less they fight at Deserted Mineshaft. But the way that they're doing it, I wonder if they're defending too much around the Tetris rather than pushing up to Banana or throttling the spawn room. Because whatever they're doing, it's not working for them. They've got 50% population, or a little bit more, and then they get redeployed on. So they have to anticipate that, yeah, we're going to have to fight 60% population. How do we win against 60% population? Do we need Air Force? Do we need vehicles? Do we need modifiers? That type of stuff. To anticipate the, you know, the intended redeployment of additional defenses.
The Rexicom network hub cap that was going through has been taken out. Absolutely destroyed by Connery.
There wasn't very many people there to begin with. It looks like Black Shark Tungsten Mine's ticking down again, 1 to 2 squads. And now the southwest gate, 6 seconds to go. Connery's going to get a base here.
Oh, hang on. VSR is now pulling up at Soltech. Absolutely decimated.
Yeah, I just saw that there as I flew off.
Wow. What's that? You wanted to deploy a Sunder here? Lol, jokes.
Oh wow, so Anatha Southwest Gate deployed Sunder outside the capture building, and it's making it 10 times easier for the defenders. The reason why this base got so far down is because the capture point is so far away from the spawn room that it's an incredibly long time to get there. But I'm deploying a Sunder outside the capture building kind of helps, I guess, a lot.
Well, and I mean, you know, it's a testament to the group who was holding this here. I saw a lot of recursion tags and some other, I think it was a Solex tag. They did a really, really good point hold, even with that Sunder deployed there, and with Maxes pushing up the stairs. They used their lashers well, they used their C4 well, and that cap lasted a lot longer than it should have, even with the deployed Sunder outside.
So 4-minute timer's coming up.
Yep. Currently looking at the cap going on at Black Shark Tungsten Mine. We're about to reach the point where certain bases are not going to be in contention anymore. Large outposts and large bases no longer are in contention.
4 minutes left in the match. Now, 4 minutes.
That means that the entire force of Vanu who are at Deserted Mineshaft don't need to be there, because Deserted Mineshaft...
Soltech charging doesn't matter. Lithcorp Central won't matter in about 20 seconds. Araxicum Network Hub doesn't matter. It's too late. It won't count. Anatha Southwest Gate could go through, and to be honest, Black Shark Tungsten Mine is the only base, realistically speaking, that you want to fight for.
Yeah, this is probably the last point of contention we're going to see.
There's only really 2 bases that's going to go, and we can already... Connery forces outside the capture point want to push in. The Briggs forces, it's extremely dangerous defending that tiny little building with the amount of grenades. You need to push out. What are all these guys down here? Look at that spawn Sunder off to the north for Briggs. What the hell is that doing all the way down there? That's useless for the capture point. That's like the worst spawn Sunder ever. Hey, thanks mate, GG.
Back to Sunder driving school.
90 seconds to go, and we've got air reinforcements now dropping in from Connery. Briggs has got a lot of people on the capture point, however. Populations are increasing, 80 seconds to go, and the Briggs have got population advantage at Black Shard. In terms of other bases, Anatha looks like it isn't going to go through. In fact, this is it. Black Shard Tungsten Mine's only base that matters right now. That's it. Black Shard Tungsten Mine.
The final point. Here we go.
1 minute remaining, and I don't see enough VS pushing yet. Their air came and kind of already went as well.
Does the Force Commanders... I mean, let's be clear here. Connery's won, right? But do you want to give up that base? No?
Nah. Any moment now, I'm expecting to see a smaller size. In fact, look to the west, I'm seeing a couple sides coming in.
Maybe the Air Force is turning up. 40 seconds to go. Still plenty of time. 40 seconds is agonizingly long.
2 minutes left in the match.
30 seconds to go.
30 seconds.
Where is this? This is the last time. The runtime from the spawn room is too much.
There's still a lot of ammo at Southwest Gate, even though it's too late.
Finish them off.
And yeah, I think
96 plus aside.
they're outside, but there's so many. Like, look inside here, right? Look at all these Briggs guys.
It's western side, they've got to be quick.
Oh, but there's too many people. Alright, the max in the cap point. This is the problem about defending in the cap point. This guy's just ripping apart the entire Briggs team. But have they got enough people with the res grenades?
He's still going.
There they do. They got enough people. There wasn't enough guys that followed the max in. So congrats there to Briggs taking back Blackshire Tungsten Mine. Now if we have a look at the map, with a minute and 10 seconds, none of the bases are in good contention. Deserted Mineshaft unfortunately won't count either. Connery put a lot of people from Mineshaft and
They put a lot of people on Southwest Gate, look at that. It's 10
and it's
seconds away.
also not going to count. So 2 bases I'm afraid are not going to count. But the thing is, when you're in the heat of the battle and you're looking at it, you're not necessarily looking at the timer on the stream like we are right now.
Exactly. You're looking at, you're pretty much guessing, what can happen when.
In fact, there's even more Connery dropping on and out of the Southwest Gate right now. I just watched another whole galaxy drop. So this is obviously where they decided to make their final push.
I'm expecting, Briggs is just one last final, stuff it, why not? They'll move here too. In fact, I'm lagging as I'm moving towards this base.
Oh, the Briggs Air Force is actually interacting with the Connery Air Force over Crux headquarters. It's a lot of Liberators and a lot of fighting.
Coming up
Yep,
under
so I
20
see.
seconds now.
Whoa! That was beautiful play. We went to take out that galaxy.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. End of match. End of match. Congratulations to Connery for winning with 58% against Briggs' 41%. Can we please confirm the interview center, please? Thanks.
So there you have it. Connery wins a game! Yay! And quite convincingly at that.
Yeah, very convincing with that warp
very
gate.
first time that we ever saw warp gate in ServerSmash.
Yeah, that was very nicely done by Connery. GG. Big GG. And
As
the
I
last
said,
Skippy is now going to stumble to the bar and
Yes.
I am quite looking forward to the, by now familiar to everyone, copy pasta that Connery always posts of, if you hear why Connery lost, don't believe it. Connery, don't let me down. I want to see that. I definitely want to see that posted on our Planetside tonight.
Well, the Reddit was already full with the Warpgate posts.
I'm expecting some lynching in the Briggs Reddit. I'll have to get my popcorn and enjoy the results.
This really speaks to the beauty of ServerSmash. Here Briggs was the undefeated, the server to beat. Many people were wondering if they would just steamroll through everything. Connery was down on its luck, had not won in a very long time, was even doubting itself, doubting whether it could happen. Here in a single match, it all turns around. Connery does something that has never happened before in ServerSmash, and it happens to Briggs, who now has to do what every single server has gone through this. You lose a match, you lose 2 matches, you lose 3 matches, and you suddenly start wondering, what did we do wrong? And you have to, it's part of grouping together and being a team and coming back from that and figuring out what you need to do to improve.
Very much so.
Alright, let's drop down to the interview channel then and just ask the Force Commanders what happened there and their opinions.
Yep, sure thing.
Scott, we have people to murder.
Hello. You have people to murder. Do go on.
Scourge make it up here yet?
He's not here.
For the Connery people, are you having a party anywhere in particular on the continent?
I failed to set up the AAR party.
You
It's been
didn't
so
think there'd
long
be
for
one?
us, I'm sorry about that.
Well, I'm at your warp gate right now, so I'll make it that one if you want.
wonder if there's anything going on in Briggs Warp Gate
So-
at this stage.
I mean, Connery, I have to ask, what was different? Was it the video? Did you have a better speech this time?
video.
Did you what was it? What caused this?
I might attribute it entirely to Radlock's speech. Almost. I can't
Oh,
quite do that.
so wait,
Is
you had a
Radlock
Radlock
back?
speech.
We dragged him back out of retirement. We knew we needed that special sauce.
Wow,
So we dragged him back out of retirement for it.
I wonder what Radlock's win-loss ratio in ServerSmash is. I imagine if he's not undefeated, he's pretty darn close at this point. So
I'm undefeated.
Talking very seriously, though, to be quite honest, it was show up to the match. It was basically getting back to fundamentals. Last time we started 17 accounts down in the match, and that's with like throwing 20 accounts at people randomly 5 minutes before. So you have about 30 people either out or standing at the warp gate. It really came down to some really basic fundamentals for Connery. Commit to it and show up to our match. Our platoon leaders put in so much extra time. We knew we were in a rut, and they all said, you know what, we're going to get out of it. And all of them were drilling, more than I could imagine. Just trying to play on live, getting their guys out of there, and making sure they had a force that was committed to being here on time for the match. So surprisingly simple stuff. Showing up really helps win.
and Briggs, I mean, how much did the cutoff territory stuff affect you late in the match? I mean, real big kudos to the fact that you didn't lose more. That was you had the entirety of your captured territory at one point completely cut off, and you were actually still managing to attack bases. So, you know, what was the thought once that happened?
Well, the number one priority was obviously to try to get control back of that situation, grab our territory right back. But we also didn't want to just give up all the other territory that they had cut off at the same time, so we just had a platoon just sticking behind the lines and just dumping one base and the other as fast as we could.
I noticed that you guys kept a couple of squads up in, what was it, Soltech charging, and I thought it would be very ballsy. I thought, oh, that's a big risk, but for a long time it did pay off.
Yeah, that was Perks up there. He stayed up in the north pretty much the entire ServerSmash, and I doubt he really got to see much Amrish.
So let's talk about air. Connery, what was your strategy with the air? It certainly seems like whatever that was worked this match.
And I'll let Shock come on it. He just made it up here. I'll let him comment in just a moment. The play here was our air platoon was focused on anti-air. We last time we had put a lot more effort into air to ground. This time we kind of lumped the air to ground guys in with the infantry so they could really see them and work alongside them. And then just gave Shock free range to play anti-air. Shock, I'll let you take over there.
You mean Scourge?
Sorry, Scourge.
Isn't that the same person?
No, Shock is the other future crew guy. I apologize, Scourge.
So yeah, I mean, it was basically the same strategy we had in our last match, which, you know, despite our loss, you know, most people agreed that we kind of did pretty well in the air, all things considered. So this time we pretty much we continued on with that general kind of strategy where we had ground platoons with, you know, a couple pilots in, and that was our primary source of just, you know, support for the ground platoons. And then we just had the air platoon, which, you know, again, huge attendance from the Asian players on Connery. Lots of attendance from Dumb. Want to give a hand of to, you know, Hakomi and Dumb, Japanese players, a few Koreans for showing up and helping us make it happen. And yeah, it was just more of the same, basically, just all focused on air-to-air domination, and then, you know, afterwards focusing on the ground. And you know, we actually did put into use some of the new things that were put in with the repair gals and the.
We did notice that. It was quite cool. How you had the kind of the repair gal, ammo gal in the back of your kind of your air control, and you guys would just kind of rotate in circles, coming back for ammo and repairs, and then going back into the fight. We did see some really cool. This is the one ServerSmash we actually got a lot of air footage, and we did see like some really cool kind of long standoff gal on gal fights.
Yeah, we had a whole squad dedicated pretty much just to that. It was very big help, and we saw him we saw the enemies starting to do that big time towards the end themselves. They caught on fast to that. Kind of like Sunday trains, but in the air.
So, let me ask the obvious question here. When did touching the warp gate and cutting off all of the NC territory become the focus for Connery? Was that your plan all along, or was it because you took the right bases?
Our plan on this one, and Briggs may have noticed how they showed up to Bastion and Split Peak with a very weak response from us. We basically tried to abandon 2 of the lanes and make 4 mismatched platoons and really commit hard to those lanes. And as you can see, our first platoon, I got to give a big shout out to Therum, they went to work on that middle lane. And I just told them to keep going. It was a little bit of a game of chicken. We were absolutely weak around the Bastion and towards our tech plant, which Briggs really capitalized on. But I had a few guys that were able to slow it down just enough so that first platoon could really make that strong push. And there was just that moment of clarity when I saw we had it, and we were able to line up all the right beacon placers at the right time, that we were able to pull out the overload and get it done.
So let's talk opening here. Briggs, what was your intention at the opening? Did you get the bases that you wanted to? Did you immediately have problems in the opening? What was your goal to begin with?
We got about half of our goals fulfilled. Obviously, we committed hard to the Bastion, and the idea was that we had troops who were supposed to cycle out once we had arrived there. Unfortunately, it was pretty slow with the cycling out. We were a bit sluggish with actually getting those troops to redeploy side out like they were supposed to. We had a platoon that was also on the way to Network Hub, but Connery just beat us to the McCullough.
What happened at Right Side Outlook? Because the interdiction by Connery was really cool, and it lasted a really long time.
Well, we did the flight times beforehand, and we didn't think that it would be possible for them to beat us to the base, considering that we were closer to the warp gate, but they just did.
So what?
Gangsterlane wins.
So what was the intention there, Connery? What was your opening? Obviously, that interdiction was a huge part of it. What was your goals off the opening?
That was the thing. If you guys will remember back to our Miller game, what we did there, they did to us. They executed perfectly. They interdicted at Rockslide, and we were left with a platoon on the ascent and unable to touch it because they had Rockslide. So we learned from that, and we knew we could beat them to Raven's Landing. We're closer to Raven's Landing than they are to Rockslide. We sent one guy to Raven's Landing and everyone else to do that interdiction and try to give us that lead so we could get to Lithgor without contention.
What else were you going for in the opening there?
So our lines were, as they could tell, we're pushing hard for Michaela and leaving light on Split Peak, pushing hard for SNA, but they beat us on that SNA line, and then pushing hard in the north, while we let Bastion and Split Peak kind of fall behind. Again, as I said, it was kind of a game of chicken. We were trying to dare them to panic and redeploy to us before we panicked and redeployed to them at the Bastion and Split Peak. And we were just really fortunate because that interdiction was so successful. We took the ascent with basically one guy. He just flipped each point. We already had Rockslide going. They couldn't touch it. So we were able to commit forces everywhere else on the map.
That's basically it. Unless you guys want to say something to each other, or you want to ask something from each other, I think we're kind of done today.
Well, all I gotta say is GG, Connery.
You as well, Briggs. It was a fantastic match. Look forward to the next one. You guys are an epic opponent. I do want to give one shout out. With all of Connery's problems, we went out and this was a very international community for us. We had multiple translators throughout the platoons. We found players from Connery that play it every time of day to try to fix our problems last match, and they all stepped up and they all did fantastic for us. So to all of our stalwart people that are always there, thank you, and to everyone that's new, and thank you for joining. It was an exciting match with all the new participants.
I gotta say, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning was totally worth it. This was totally a fun stream. I thought this would be terrible, but it was good.
that we had a Korean cast, a Korean language cast as well. Maddox up here was doing a Korean language cast, so this is the first time. Not only did you have an international group playing, but this is the first time that we had an international cast going on as well.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, big shout out to the FPSK and the GRN guys. They did great.
Can I inquire on who the Wu-Tang Clan was? Because not only was that a fairly large block of your force, but I presume that your pilots, because on the initial opener, they killed.
I think they were Center Platoon, weren't they?
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that that's their Wu-Tang Clan. That just sounds like him.
It is.
I don't know exactly, but hang on. I'm gonna get him in here if we have just another moment.
Well, I just want to say while you're waiting for to get him in here that freaking warp gating the Briggs, doing what everyone thought could not be done, was beauty to behold for the minute that you had it.
Yeah, for 1 minute everything was cut off. Like, for the Briggs guys, you didn't kind of freak out, you kept forces outside flipping other bases, and it seemed to me you actually stabilized fairly well. You got it back, and then you didn't lose that much territory.
What could have been an absolute disaster, turned out to just simply be they touched the warp gate, which I think had you told anyone before this match, hey, Briggs is going to get completely cut off of all their territory, that would sound like, oh man, we're looking at 80% capture, 90% capture kind of thing.
But let's be clear here.
You actually managed to take territory.
Yeah, but we knew that once they managed to get the cap on those warp gate bases, that we wouldn't be able to deploy back to anything out on the front lines. So a lot of the forces who were out on the front lines stayed out there and kept fighting on those bases. So that they were able to redeploy to the one base behind them to defend that, as opposed to not being able to get there at all.
But let's be clear here. I mean, only Connery can get it to the warp gate, do a full capture of the warp gate, and not get over 60%.
I mean, that's a testament to Briggs' resilience.
Still,
we got there and they were all over us. When we were going for that full cutoff on both lanes, which you saw we had for maybe about 10 seconds, but they were onto us. We couldn't keep up with all of their forces just pouring out of that warp gate there. I believe the leader of Wu-Tang Clan is here, because he was spearheading that push right up the middle there. Therum, you there?
What's up?
We were just, were you the Wu-Tang Clan?
Yeah.
We just wanted to get your take on that middle lane spearheading the warp gate there. Touch.
Well, we just wanted to get aggressive and, make them sweat a bit. Just keep, breathing down their necks and fucking them up. And, eventually, after like
this is a family stream here, just so you know.
All right. But yeah, we just wanted to warp gate them, I guess. It's like, let's warp gate them, and my squad leads were like, let's do it. So it's not much more to it than that.
Cool. Well, thanks guys for playing. Me and Redolent are just going to go up and end the stream up. We're just going to talk about some upcoming games. I'm looking forward to your next game, Connery. I am really looking forward to seeing who you're going to be playing in the future, because I think we're going to be announcing, talking about potential schedules for the future. But we got a couple of games coming up. So thanks guys for playing. It was a very, very fun fight to watch today.
Incredible match. Nice work, guys.
Thank you very much. Good match to you. And casters, thank you for waking up in the middle of the night to put this on. Really appreciate it.
Hold on, Farah. I'm not going to let you get away too quickly.
Oh, no.
You made a mention about how only Connery could warp gate and not get 60%. You played against us with Emerald and Miller, where we tried to warp gate you. We got well over 60%, but we could not get the warp gate. Getting the warp gate, I think, is much harder than getting over 60. And I think that that Connery deserves amazing props for being able to pull that off.
Yeah, but my response would be to that would be, what am I thinking? What's the word? Oh yeah, Freyr Substation.
Yeah.
Screw that base. Okay.
Because I wasn't there. That's all.
Oh, of course. Okay, right. Okay, cheers, man. I'll catch you there. Right. So, coming up next, right? We got a couple of games coming up. That is the end now of our season games. That was the end of our test season games. So we've got some talk about the current maps. We have a thought of an Esamir map, a better one that we want in our test, possibly. But ultimately, the games that we know that are coming up, we've got Emerald playing itself, Emerald, on June 20th. That'll be ServerSmash 41. That's coming up next. That is, as I said, June 20th. There may be a French on French Smash, but we don't know the numbers there. It could be 100, could be versus 100, but it's no guarantees there. So when we know exact details, we'll post that. ServerSmash 42 will be Briggs Miller. They want a rematch, kind of a friendly rivalry game there. So we'll see whether or not Skippy can recover from 2 losses in a row. That will be on the week following, on June 28th. The particular maps aren't confirmed yet where they'll play on Briggs Miller. And then following that, you've got a game that you want to play on July 11th. Why don't you talk about that?
Well, we just posted about this today. This is something that's been in the works for a couple of weeks now. We are doing North America versus EU. That is Emerald and Connery together versus Cobalt and Miller together. It is a ServerSmash fought over 2 different continents simultaneously. So it is the continent of Amrish and the continent of Hassan. That means that 240 players from Connery will team up with 240 players from Emerald. They will be one cohesive force of 480. It's up to them to decide, do you want Connery to be on one continent, Emerald to be on the other? Do you want to mix your forces? Do you want to have more forces on one continent than the other? It'll basically be like old school multi-continent alerts. The end game is determined by total territory percentage held over both continents, and it's a grudge match. It's North America versus EU. I'm sure there's a lot of smack talk back and forth with this. It's a fun match. We try and do these every so often. You know, we get awfully serious with the tournament talk and with the 1v1 stuff. We like to do these 3 ways. We like to do these kind of show match things, you know, every so often, every 5-6 months, and and just get back to see what other kind of game modes are there. And this is a big one. This will be a huge match. This will really showcase a part of Planetside that unfortunately kind of died with continent locking and alerts. You know, I think a lot of us kind of cut our teeth platoon leading with the thing of how do you move 48 people across a continent. If one server decides to move 100 people from one continent to the other, well, yeah, they can do that, but just like in the old days, you're going to get caught in the queue. Could you get everyone over there? How do you coordinate back and forth? All those things that we got really good at doing, say, 6-8 months ago, they're going to, those skills are going to come roaring back.
Right. Well, I will look forward to that game. It's kind of I don't think it's the benchmark for all the future games, but it's fun that we do try different style of games, have a bit of fun, that type of thing, in a kind of a mid-break. We are provisionally... we are writing up, as we speak right now, the 2015 tournament schedule. We've got 2 potential categories or ways we're going to do it that are up to the reps to debate. So if you're a ServerSmash rep, please go to the Planetside Battle Staff Reddit and check that out and vote on which one you want to run. As soon as we have that locked down, we will announce that publicly on Reddit, and we'll probably announce it in future ServerSmash games what the kind of tournament schedule will be. So stay tuned. We've got plenty of games coming out the rest of this year, but if you want to know when the next ServerSmash is, that'll be Emerald versus Emerald. I'm very much looking forward to seeing which Emerald comes on top, and that is on June 20th. And with that being said, any final words?
We have one other thing that's coming up here that's not ServerSmash related. Daybreak Games is working with Planetside Battles, or I guess the other way around. We're working with Daybreak Games to run a massive test of the brand new game mode on PTS. This is happening this Monday. We are doing 2 tests of this. I'm going to post this on our Planetside here momentarily. We're doing 2 tests, one at 19 UTC on Monday, the other one at 0100 UTC Tuesday. That is basically prime time for EU and prime time for US on Monday. Both of those are to test the new Conquest capture mechanic game mode on PTS. We want to get as many people in there as possible. This is all 3 factions. Daybreak is very, very interested to get actual player feedback. We want to get we can have as much as 600 people playing this at once. We want to get as many people in there. We want to get EU people playing. We want to get US people playing. We want to get Briggs people playing. It'll be a little early for you on both times, but if it's possible for you to stay up or wake up early if you don't have school or work, let's get as many people in there trying it. The only way we're gonna make something that's great for the game and allows the game to move forward is if we actually get a whole bunch of people in there, try it, and give the devs feedback. I can tell you we've been personally talking to the Daybreak devs. They are very, very interested in our feedback. They're very interested in seeing how this works out. So check our Planetside here just in a few minutes. There will be a post up detailing this, but basically update your PTS. Get ready to come onto this TeamSpeak here, ts.planetside.battles.org. We'll group up and organize here, and we'll try out this brand new game mode.
Yeah, see what you will about the game mode. But ultimately, PTS usually gets some dedicated testers, but it's never in large scale. And because it's a public test server, it's a download, it's a separate client, there's not going to be like Teams, there's not going to be ServerSmash-esque. It's just a case of, here's a time, the first one being 1900 UTC on Monday, that's 2 days from now, or depending where you were in the world, it's basically Monday, it's only a short while away. And you come in, you turn up, 1900 UTC, if the thing's running, just get into it and play. The more people have, the better. And yes, I don't want to use the words phase 1, but I just went there. But ultimately, this is a very moldable system. They can do it in many ways. I know there's been a ton of recommendations and suggestions, not only from PSB, but also from you guys, the community and Reddit. This is a good time to test it. Give as much feedback as you can to PSB. Give them as much, to Daybreak Games. Give them as much kind of statistical data from the actual fighting and playing. Get all the bugs out there, so this does not come to live. You don't want this coming to live until it's fully tested and ready to go. So we highly encourage you guys just to turn up. We've got a time there. We've got the TeamSpeak server, the PSB TeamSpeak that can be used. We might even have some devs that you can voice your opinions to. We may even get Radar, I think, perhaps doing the kind of caster stream with us. That's debatable. But anyway, the point is that's what's going to happen. On Monday, we're going to have 2 games, one earlier, one later in the day at different prime times. So if you have time and you want to come along and play in the PTS, by all means, come along. And I think that's us then, Raylan, isn't it? Yep.
I believe so, yeah.
Alright, cool. And well, thanks very much for playing, guys, and watching. We hope you enjoyed the stream. I very much enjoyed streaming this. Totally surprised and very thoroughly enjoyed the outcome and the results and the battles and the play. And I love the fact that Connery's resurgent again and Briggs didn't necessarily mess up. They came across a very strong opponent. So we will head off and we will see you then on June 20th. And we'll see you then. Right. Goodbye.